No, that gecko was trying to kill that beetle.
Yeah, that page is cool.
Oh yeah. We got audio now.
There we go.
Oh, we have sound?
Well, we have sound now.
We have
Y'all
audio.
didn't miss
Sorry,
anything.
we were having technological differences.
Hey, we were
and-
just talking
It's
about
just
lizards.
random
Wait.
stuff. Hello, we're Pints and Pit.
Wait.
Did you freeze?
Wait a minute. Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, we're on.
We're on.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. How's
Hello!
it going?
We're Pints and Pistons. I'm
How's-
Daniel.
How are you tonight, Daniel?
Good, Chris. How are you tonight?
Good.
Hi,
Who are you?
Mike. I'm Mike. Hi. Are you okay? Are you having an allergic reaction to the stuffed shells?
No, proper.
No, we're good.
We're good. Brian,
I don't
Yes.
understand what's going on.
just proper podcast introduction.
Oh, well, yeah, no, this is Brian.
I'm lost.
I am too.
No, you're Brian.
I'm lopsided.
That you are.
No, Brian.
I am Brian.
There you go.
One leg. Lopsided. Hopping right along.
So welcome everybody. We're Pints and Pistons. How you
Listing
doing tonight?
starboard.
We'll get the chat going.
Jesus Christ, Dan. Like,
There we go.
you just hurt my head so much.
Good.
Hey, can I let you know a champion one-legged man move I made? And not me being the one-legged man?
I was going to say, that would be...
You walked around on 2 feet?
No. So we had to play...
That would be cultural appropriation. We don't stand for that shit around here.
Yeah.
We had to play at a baseball field recently with my kids' team. Not naming names of fields, obviously.
Oh, is this your new buddy?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So, said field, out in the middle of nowhere. Dirt roads, like, field, middle of nowhere. No close parking to help anybody. And we had to park out on a giant hill, which I also, in my car, might have got stuck in and had to maybe leave some ruts to pull myself out of a bad situation.
Did you hop on one foot down the hill to stand in solidarity with your new one-legged friend?
We had to park up together. And when everybody started clearing out, I said, "Hey man, let me grab the Jeep and pull it up." And he's like, "You'll do that?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. There's nobody by the front gate now. It's not a parking spot, but people aren't there. Let me grab your Jeep, bring it on up." 89 Grand Cherokee, by the way. Sweet ride.
Solid choice.
Sticker on the back says, if it leaks oil, it has oil, Jeep 0124.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
That it has that sticker.
Jeeple are interesting.
And also, I want to be sedated, Ramon sticker.
Yeah.
Okay, go with that.
I like that guy.
Like I said, he's one of our people.
I can go along with this.
Yeah, I grabbed Jeep, went to start it. Guess what happened?
It didn't start.
It didn't start. And I was like, "Oh Lord, I'm a minute away. Start? Start?" I'm like, did I break it? Is he going to yell at me? I barely know this guy. What's happening? And I was like, all right, hold on.
Did you push the clutch in?
No.
Did you hit the throttle 3 times?
I did that 3 times. And throttle. Start, nothing, throttle. And it went... And I was like, okay, we're good. I'm going to leave it running when I get down there.
It's old Jeep things.
And I got down there and I was like, "Hey man, had trouble." And he goes, "Oh, she's an old girl, it's fine." And I'm like,
It's
"Yeah."
it's a Jeep thing you wouldn't understand.
He
Yes.
said, "I should have told you. You gotta do it a few times."
I got your Jeep thing, and now it burns when I pee.
Yes.
And I said to him, I was like, "So it's all good?" He's like, he said, "Yeah, I guess it's just how those are." And I was like, "It's not a Jeep thing, is it?" And he goes, "No, that would hurt." And I was like, so that's good. Okay, it's just it's that, and that's fine. But also, yeah, no, that was bad. That hill looked very misjudging. I saw it and I was like, "Oh, he got up there." And I realized I'm in my car, but like that doesn't look bad. And I get up and all of a sudden my car went. And I said, "Oh no, we are bottomed out and teetering."
He high-centered the shit box.
And
It's what it's for.
There's 2 ruts. I second gear clutch drop. Rocking. I was like, I had Nate. I'm like, "Nate, rock! Come on!" And it went and it got up there. So that's a plus.
That poor car.
That's what that car's for.
That's true.
it
That
is.
is what that
At
car's
this
for.
point, definitely it is. That's,
Yeah, that
that's
is what that
car
car's
is for.
Yes.
I put my back seats back in though.
Really?
I did.
Why?
I had to cart somebody around for a while.
Oh.
So
I rode in the back of that with no back seats just fine.
yeah, and maybe on the way to the Festivals of Speed in Mexico, far beyond the travels of U.S., somebody rode in a lawn chair in the back of that car to Ocala, Mexico.
I rode on the top of a case of water.
Yep.
Just sitting in on the top of the water going, yep, we're going to Mexico.
But no, there's seats back there now. They're not up. I have them down, and I removed even more stuff as well from the back.
Did you remove functional items that makes the car run?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Good.
that makes not run, but
Makes the car legal for the street.
yes,
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, those things.
Yes.
Okay.
And now my car is even louder on the inside.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Let me guess. Screwdriver?
What?
Screwdriver?
Not plastic trim removal tools for most of
Oh,
it. A screwdriver and also a T8 Torx
And
for
this-
certain. We'll call them SRS items. And
Oh, you're talking about those things.
Yeah,
I thought you
yeah.
were talking about the other, the Cadillacs.
oh
What?
no!
Hey,
I was
here's-
thinking of screwdriver and
I'm
Cadillac.
literally-
Look, here's
I'm
the
so
thing.
close.
There's more airbag recalls coming. So ultimately, you just made your car safer.
I did.
Right.
No,
No,
but like
Sabrina's car still is a ticking time bomb.
I'm like
It's
now.
not a time bomb. It's a claymore.
Sure.
I'm full
This
in.
side towards enemy.
Yes.
I'm busy this weekend, but next weekend, my car is going to Rod's, and I'm getting the last remaining bit of sound deadeningness on my exhaust removed and straight piped. It will remain dual exhaust, but
That's when you get a really long screwdriver and go.
oh no! See, I have the CPE version,
I was
so
gonna
instead
say,
of two of them,
I
it's
mean-
one like only this big.
Yeah, and then you
I'm
go.
not worried about. No, it's the big. It's about this big and about that big around.
Oh, that suitcase that hangs out in the back of the car.
No, mine's in the middle because I got what I was
Oh,
told.
so it's like mine. How mine was, where I had that
Yeah.
giant
that,
thing the size of the bar.
That car's gonna be obnoxious as hell.
I know.
Right,
It
yeah.
already is. It's going to be more obnoxious.
Yeah, like again. You
No,
got-
right now it's just obnoxious. It's going to be obnoxious as hell.
Yeah.
Dude, like I said, you gotta hear Zach's. It's no cats, no mufflers, no nothing. Dual to one single with a dump at the rear axle, LS1.
So it's Sabrina's car.
No,
No, it's
actually,
louder. It's
I was
much
gonna say,
louder.
I
It's
think-
louder
I
and it
think-
chops harder.
I was gonna say because Sabrina's car.
and at the
only
upper
thing-
RPM
the-
range, it's probably got a pretty healthy high pitch going
I'm
on.
gonna
Yep.
say the only.
I
thing
mean,
which-
I
the only
haven't
thing Sabrina's
driven it,
car
but-
has is
I have.
2 resonators. That's it, one on each side.
So far, the wildest sounding LS I ever heard was Tanner Faust's VW
Oh, the VW.
rally car, because they couldn't modify the firewall. They could fit the LS in there, but running exhaust was a problem, so they basically did an 8-into-1 header that all went forward
Yep.
and then went down
and it was
went
like
out the front
mini
and then
stroke
under the
LSs with
car.
a 9,000 RPM.
And that thing at full song was fucking glorious.
Yeah, his is pretty impressive with sound wise. Actually, very impressed. It sounds glorious. But no, I want my car louder, and I think it's time finally. It's gonna get louder.
I think I need to make the Mustang a little louder too.
Oh, and I've also
I think I
almost-
need to go on ahead and put that off-road X pipe on.
Oh, you don't? You still have your cats? Fucking get rid of them.
Yeah.
I procured everything but
It's
one
one
thing
of those
for
now you cannot. You can no longer fucking get that shit anymore. So it's one of those. If you have that, you can sell it for huge bucks. My $120 BBK off-road H pipe. That was $120 back in the day. I can sell it used now for $500.
Yep.
It's great.
I've sourced everything for my big turbo, and I have everything except big turbo. So within probably after Christmas, I will be able to buy said big turbo, and also
So big turbo and louder exhaust.
well, see that might
Bigger
change.
turbo would quiet down.
Maybe.
Exhaust, though.
So that's a good reason to get a big turbo. All I have to say is, once all of this is done, I want to do a pull.
So I found a
Again.
solid route on the forums for a passenger fender exit.
No.
No,
No.
Yes.
don't
No.
do that.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No.
Nope. Nope.
Out
don't
the
do
black fender.
No.
Don't do that.
Why?
No.
It's one of those things. It's kind of like when he moved. The idea of doing what he did sounded a whole lot better than actually doing what he did, which is why he's back here.
Okay, so then hood dump or full exhaust?
Full exhaust.
Out the
One
back.
or the other.
Out the back.
Listen, hood dump or full exhaust, no side dump.
Out the back. And the reason why is because if you have a hood dump, when you blow the seals out of the turbo and you're in the rain, all that oil is going to end up on your windscreen,
And you can't see shit.
and you were going to end up on.
See,
and
he's
you're
predicting my future already.
Yes,
He knows.
yes, we are. We're
Hood
trying
dump.
to save you.
Every now and then, there's this. This is
That's
what
the intrusive thoughts
it.
are saying.
this is what this right here is the difference between youth and enthusiasm, old age and treachery.
He's coming behind me and he's gonna say, "Do it."
Do it.
Yeah, but I'm finally agreeing with you on this.
Hood
So,
dump with external wastegate dump too.
Yeah, well,
Hood
that's,
dump.
yeah.
Do it.
Dad didn't pick me up from school early today.
told you, call your mom.
No, Dad. Listen, with my kid, Dad knows when, he knows when Dad's coming, because the cops think a mass shooting is happening. Stop! It's PG rated.
So you said mass shooting.
Yeah. Well-
Phrasing?
Sorry, my bad.
Jesus Christ, man.
My car does the things.
Are you
and
coming? Or are you like?
getting,
Okay.
uh,
And that's Pints and Pistons, guys. Bye. Have a good one.
He's not even breathing hard.
Thank you, Dan.
Old school. How's it going?
Hi,
old
Mike.
School?
I feel so
Anyone
worried
else?
every time I drop that
No,
kid off at
just,
school.
Just Mike in the chat.
God.
It's mainly in the mornings because, like, when I pick him up in the afternoon, I don't pick him up from the school. When I drop him off in the morning, I do a U-turn. And almost every day when I do my U-turn, it's wham, wham, wham. And I'm like, watch all the kids do this. And I'm like, oh, sorry. It's not that. I'm sorry. My car.
See, when I'm leaving, my car does that, and it's all the kids on the playground, and they run the opposite way.
Oh, I also, I did have a good car spot at a baseball practice.
The Jeep.
No. So, me and Rob with Jeep were sitting there talking about VWs, and we heard in the distance sweet small displacement V8 sounds with dual clutch transmission farty bits behind it. You know the sound I'm talking about between shifts?
Yes.
With the pops and the farts.
Yes, the timing cut.
Him and I both beam over and we see a pair of headlights very wide set hitting the S-curve coming up to the Bicentennial Park. And we're like, what's going on here? Mercedes GTR AMG.
Ooh,
Nice.
Tuned.
Interesting.
Bigger turbos. I said, what time's your practice over? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Like, we started a little later than you. And I was like, well, if you get done before, can I just, right in that passenger seat, make your kid wait? I don't care. And then he ended up leaving before we did. And when he took off,
That question was the reason he left before you did.
probably, but it made first gear go the pow. I saw the fireballs, and then it went second, hooked, and I didn't see him anymore. And it sounded those 4-liter twin turbo V8s they use, whatever the whatever Mercedes
Yeah,
V8.
that thing.
Oh, I had to sit down.
Actually, I haven't seen anything interesting the past couple of weeks. It's weird.
Know what you've seen interesting?
I also saw a 180SX today on my way here.
Oh, nice.
Full Dorito.
Nice.
Livery, big chassis wing, everything. Leaving the Wells Fargo next to Brian's shop right when I left work.
Really?
Yeah, I beamed over and I looked and I was like, it had big cambered out wheels and everything and full super shiny livery, and I saw a big intercooler front bumper, like Bomex looking kit with a big chassis wing. I was like, whoa! And then I saw a guy sitting on the other side. I'm like, oh, it's a 180. And yeah, I was like,
Or at least a swapped 240.
Did it have a 180 nose, or did it have a 180 nose or a
it
Sylvia
was
nose?
a 180 nose on it.
So it
I'm
wasn't a
pretty
Salady.
sure it was a 180.
So not a Salady.
No, it was a 180.
Yeah, if it's not a Sylvia, it's a 180.
No, it was a 180, and
I do love a Sill 80 though. Oh.
Still 80s are nice.
Dude, this is the
yeah.
perfect combination
There was
of
a guy
front
in
end and
Beverly
rear
Hills
end,
used to have
if
one.
you know what I mean.
It was in
Oh.
that electric blue.
Ah!
So
It
the
was
blue.
straight up Team Impact.
Uh-huh.
It was exactly that car.
Have you seen
So-
the Nissan Sentra rolling around with the Akina Speedstars on it?
No.
There is a chalkboard matte black Nissan Sentra.
It's not. It's an Ultima.
No, it's a Sentra.
Well, there used to be a bubble era Ultima that had that on there. It was a girl that drove it.
Oh, okay. So maybe this is related to.
So-
It's a dude, but it's a Sentra, and it's spray painted Akina Speedstars.
You mean
on
like
it.
that?
No,
No.
no. It looked like
No, this was an actual sticker on that.
no. This is like spray painted on badly.
Ah.
So do we want to get our first beer? And that brings me into our the topic I want to talk about.
Oh, look at me go! In a, like
that's actually a good
segueing
That's
right
a good
in.
segue into the topic.
Look
I
at
wanna
me
talk
go!
about.
I'm proud of myself. I
Mike,
good.
where did you put our beers at?
I'll go.
I'll wait for him to come back before we start the topic, though.
Good idea.
I also saw an HHR that had really wide stance tires. It looked like
That's unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
well, not for nothing. I kind of wasn't opposed to the way it looked. It looked like the fenders were stretched too. It had side dumps with like the rocker panels
it
cut
keeps
out.
getting more unfortunate.
And
I can
then
only
He
ima-
thinks that he's
Well, no,
saying
no.
like things
No.
in good ways.
no, I
but
gotta get to the best part.
It's an HHR. It just keeps getting worse.
But then when he says with everything poked out in the fender stretch, I'm kind of thinking what the scrub radius has got to look like on that fucking thing.
Here's the best part, and I know y'all love this so
Did it
much.
still have ball joints in it?
I'm leaning in further to what you're talking about.
Did it still have ball joints?
Somebody fabricated
Here's plastic.
like a GMC Denali grill onto it.
And it just
Like,
keeps getting
It
worse.
big-
just keeps getting
Like,
worse.
if you could imagine if the HHR hood had that much open space and it opened into a big mouth and had GMC that was plastered there, I was like, what is happening? And why have you done this to that already terrible vehicle? Like, because it looked well done, but, like, it was bad.
So it took you that long to get around to the point where you just flat out came out and said that you agree with us.
No,
we were right
no,
from the beginning.
No, I do. I just wanted to lead you guys on. Like,
What-
it was bad. It was red, too.
What's even worse, like you said, it was really well done. That makes it more unfortunate. That's the worst
know.
part.
Like, the grill
Ooh.
almost looked like
I'm excited about
UFO. Oh my gosh, there's
this. I
aliens.
saw UFO in Florida
Florida
and
citrus?
citrus.
So
I don't know.
This is
Real,
us.
real Florida oranges.
This is us.
Let me get a shot of that for the audience.
So I thought there was a reading on this somewhere, but it's not. Anyway, it just says pairs well with a slice of paradise. Explore our beers at ufobeer.com. But this is somewhere up north. I think it's like Massachusetts or something.
Employee owned.
Yeah, so this
Sure it's
is
not Ohio?
UFO Florida Citrus. And it's,
Boston, Massachusetts.
There you go.
And Windsor, Vermont.
yeah, so this is from up north, and they're going full Florida on us.
Would you like
Let's
to hear?
see if the Northerners know how to Florida man.
Would you like to hear a slightly tangent Florida man thing that we won't spiral off into? That's funny. Florida woman, actually. She was very disappointed that she did not get accepted to the correct university.
Is this the one that thought she was coming to Florida, but she applied to Miami University in Ohio? Hope she got warm coats and blankets.
Not for nothing, and I hate saying that. It's like saying bless your heart, but if you really went that far, you deserve it because you're dumb.
Yes.
I can't. I tried wrapping my head around it earlier, and I was just like, no, I can't. I just can't. But any hooser.
Ooh, that's got a nice smell to it.
Oh gosh, that does.
Smells like orange soda.
Hey, cheers to the Florida winter tornadoes, everyone.
Yeah, for real. We had some.
Vortec motors passing
It got
through.
quite spicy.
Yes, we
on,
had some spicy
Thursday
weather.
morning.
Yes, it did.
Ooh. Wait a
I
minute.
do not regret this choice at all.
Oh my.
That's quite pleasant.
I do
That.
not.
That is quite nice.
Whoa.
So I actually.
How do people in Massachusetts do it like that?
I don't know.
That's
So I
good.
actually picked this up before we did our last episode, and I didn't bring it because old school Mike graciously brought us a couple of beers from Pennsylvania. So this has been sitting chill in the fridge for about 3 weeks.
I wonder if the oranges that they got, how they say, you know, real Florida oranges, they stopped at the truck stop with the baby gators.
That's
Bought
like
a bag.
It's entirely possible.
That is fantastic.
That's-
right there.
Indian River
See,
oranges.
a lot of people don't realize how certain oranges taste, and that is like that's raw.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in a good way though. Like that's the pure
That's
essential.
just a glass of orange, is what
I
that
was
is.
gonna say
with
that,
the
that-
orange
that's,
peel even,
With beer.
like you get everything in there.
that's
good.
That's a homegrown orange. That's
It
you
is.
picked it from your backyard.
No, but that's
That's
one.
pretty
That's one where they
sweet.
didn't peel it. They just smashed the whole orange in there and
Yep.
got the oils out of the peel and everything.
Yeah.
going on.
Mhm. It's good though.
It is.
See, my grandfather used to do like what he called Florida orange juice, which he made with everything out of his orange tree with, rind, everything. That's what it tasted like. Just pulpier, a lot pulpier.
Was that Dio or Lady?
That was Lady.
Okay.
Lady Doggo.
So the topic that I wanted to bring up. So this is a trick question, and I'm letting you know this is a trick question.
No, we do appreciate that.
The genesis of modifying cars. What was the like flashpoint of like custom car culture?
Remember when the first car was built?
Started with the
This
second
guy.
car.
Yeah. It's like
You're
I
actually
wanna
very
go
close to being
a
right.
little faster.
You
Well,
are
that was
very
really the
close to
genesis
being
of
right.
auto
The
racing.
thing that
Sure.
brought this to my mind was
Door?
those TikToks that have been going around where it was like, what was like a rich people thing until poor people adopted it.
Cars.
So
You had cars, you had the Le Mans racing and all that, you had everything like that, and then all of a sudden everybody comes back from war and was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this happen because
see, that's the story you get. The guys coming back from World War II, they were
Well, that was
bored,
kind-
they
that-
were hot rodding cars. That's the genesis of hot rodding, but that's
Yeah.
not the genesis of custom car culture. I figured it out watching a video. I was watching a video on Ed's Auto Reviews, which is a fantastic
Good
channel,
channel,
if you've never seen
by the
it.
way. Yeah.
I know what the genesis of custom car culture is, and where it came. What it was originally a rich person thing, and then poor people adopted it. Because in the 20s and the 30s, coach building became a very popular way of buying a car.
Yeah.
If you were a rich person.
You didn't buy a car. You bought a chassis.
Correct.
And then you
And
sent
then
it to
you
a
hired
coach builder
coach
or a
builder to build you
carrozzeria.
a one-of-one, crazy, specced out exactly how you wanted it, unique coach. They built the body for you. They built the interior. You bought a chassis from GM or Chevrolet, and then you
Or
had
Duesenberg.
or Duesenberg
Or Packard.
or Packard
Or
or
Lincoln.
Mercedes or Lincoln.
Or
and then you had
Rolls.
this
Or
this
Cadillac.
bespoke
Delahaye
custom
or
car built
Tavolago.
on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And only rich people did that in the beginning because it was extremely expensive to do so. You had to order your chassis, have it delivered to the coach builder, and they'd have that thing for 12 to 14 months while they custom built your car. And they'd only build, 3 or 4 cars a year. That's the true genesis of custom car culture before it was custom car culture.
Yes,
Like that popped
yes.
into my head, and I was thinking about that. I was like, I want to talk about this on the show.
That would be like a Mercedes or a Tavolago with a Southcheck body.
Right.
Or a Duesenberg with whatever bodies were in the
Because
coach builders in the U.S.
The whole point of that was if
Cadillac
you were really,
chassis with Fisher bodies.
If you were really rich and you wanted to show off your money, you had a really crazy coach-built car made.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't ever going to drive it. You had a guy drive you around in it. But
It was not
you
covered.
had that car built custom.
You were
and
covered.
You were the only
They
one
were.
that has
It rains. Screw you.
Yeah,
It's
they didn't
snowing,
even put a
screw
roof
you.
over the original ones for the driver.
Yeah.
The driver was up front. It was made out of leather. It was tough wearing.
If you
The
get
back
wet,
was
that's
all-
on you, peasant.
The back was all made out of the nice posh stuff. But that popped into my head.
Which is another thing that I want to go on. How did leather go from a utilitarian,
to a premium option.
yeah, like it was one of those, the uncovered coach driver, all the weather,
Which is another
winter,
thing that
all
was originally made popular by rich people, and then the poor adopted it,
and made
and-
it into a rich thing.
made it into a rich thing.
Yeah. 'Cause it
Leather
was one-
seats were not originally
no,
a
that was the
fancy
cheapest
option. That
the
was the
cheapest
cheapest
part. That was the
way.
cheapest
Yeah,
part of the cow.
wool was the expensive.
Yeah,
wool,
Right.
wool was
Wool
the
and
expensive.
cotton were,
Yeah.
were
Yes.
more expensive.
So you had the fancy, velour, all that stuff going on there, but you had, leather up front because, like you said, it's durable, all that. But now it became total opposite. You see, oh, it has cloth seats. No, those cloth seats cost more than the damn leather seats.
And I'm the weird person, I guess, because I actually prefer a cloth seat.
Oh, I do too.
I don't like the leather seats in my Mustang. You slide around in them, they don't grip you. A cloth seat will
Well,
hold you
also
better.
it's because you don't have the proper bolsterings.
Right.
Okay,
like
so
peppery
my
leather.
thing is, like I said,
It's because you can
I like
fart when you go
cloth seats.
somewhere.
I like
No,
cloth
you
seats
can-
for the
you
grip.
Do it.
I like leather seats because they don't absorb your body stink sweat.
True.
And
You can fart and it dissipates.
yes, you can
No,
fart.
No,
in it.
I want that fart to stay in there. I
No,
put it in that
that's
seat
the,
for a reason.
The peak leather is perforated leather. Because it has the right surface area for your body to actually stick to it because of the airflow. And stays cool.
Well, the peak is the heated and ventilated seats. Because, oh my god,
Well,
ventilated
not
seats
well,
are
not
amazing.
heated seats,
Yeah,
the
ventilated
ventilated.
seats.
Well, if they're ventilated, they're going to get heaters too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But having
like,
heated
having
slash
a butt
ventilated
blower
seats
is the
is
nicest
just,
thing
oh.
ever.
Air conditioning seats.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
the ventilated seats.
Well, ventilated is one thing, but air conditioned ventilated is something else entirely. When all of a sudden you flip a
I've
switch,
never been in a car that had true air-conditioned seats. No.
I have.
I have one time.
And
What kind of car was it?
It was a Lincoln Navigator. And
Your
well,
ass
like,
gets
they weren't,
cold.
They weren't air-conditioned.
no, it was like all of a sudden the switch was flipped and you were sitting on a fucking chunk of ice.
Yes. They have the AC set up to blow down under the seats to catch some of the air-conditioned air, but they're just ventilated.
Well, like I
Oh.
said, it was like sitting on a fucking ice cube.
Speaking of that, slight little tangent. Sorry for Chris, he'll know. New Carnivals, you don't have a rear cabin filter too, right?
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Somebody actually checked one the other day.
Yeah.
I did not realize that they, like, I know they run tube blowers. A lot of vehicles have run tube blowers for
Yeah.
umpteen years. Those actually
You know, the
have
big
their own
Suburbans
rear
and
cabin
all
filter.
that, the Chevy Express fans and
Most of them don't run cabin filters in the back though, but I guess that's just something else for them to bank off of.
well, no, it's actually a good idea though. With the size of the ventilation system, you know, having that second filtration and that, like that's actually good.
That dog wants to go out and do yard zoomies so bad.
She does.
Cabin filters are great, but nobody changes them. That's the problem.
Yeah. I'm almost on 8 years without changing mine.
I was 6 years on the Mustang without changing mine.
I changed the one
Wait,
in
does my car have one?
Yes.
yeah. I changed the one in Paige's
It's
car.
probably full of mold.
Yeah, it's the same thing with.
And that's the
Serena's.
problem. So cabin filters are great if you change them. If you don't change them, they actually
horrible.
create their own problem being moldy.
I'm really curious to how mine look. Because I change pages every couple, like, probably once a year. And I have not changed mine in my car since I've owned it, so.
I changed mine recently.
Ladybugs.
The one that came out was disgusting.
The Mustangs really have a bad
Yeah.
position for theirs. Like, you have to pull the cowling to get to it.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Well, the other part with the Mustangs is when they were built, there's a lot of people that complained about S197 Mustangs having leaks around the windshield and soaking the smart junction box. It wasn't a leak around the windshield.
No, it was leaking on the drain from the...
There's two drains in the
For the
cowl.
AC.
There,
Yeah.
no, it's not the AC. There's two cowl drains in
Really?
front of the windshield, and they've got these little rubber funnel things that go in them.
Oh yeah, no, we pulled them on Sabrina's
Well,
car.
the problem is, on some cars, and mine was one of them, they were installed upside down.
Were they really?
Mine were installed upside down.
See, even if they're installed the right way, they
Yeah.
plug up with dirt.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah,
pulled
And
them.
nothing
Mine-
can get through them.
Mine were upside down, so if you have a car like mine, they were installed upside down, you had to get that much water in the cowl before it would run over and drain somewhere else. And people with their cowls sit out in the rain, cowls fill up with water,
And rust
they would
out.
take a left turn, water would pour down through the through the cabin air filter and
Yep.
soak the smart junction box.
That's what happened to my car. I bought my car.
So there was
I
a
had
lot. There was a lot of people that had windshields replaced because they thought they had a windshield leak, and
Yeah.
that wasn't it. So I was cleaning my car for a show, which brings up a topic.
I know.
again. So I was cleaning my car for a show, and I was in the engine bay, and I went down under the cowl, and I hit something, and water dripped out. I was like, flicked it and pulled this inverted funnel-looking thing out, and a whole shit ton of water came out. My car doesn't sit out in the rain that much.
Yep.
A whole shit ton of water came out. So I went over to the other side, and same thing. Mine were installed upside down. But even when I looked at them, the ends of the funnels were almost shut.
Yeah.
So I ended up cutting a big chunk out of them and then put them in the right way. So now they drain. I don't have an issue. But
Mine are out. They're gone.
yeah,
Well, it's like with Sabrina's doors. All of a sudden, it got to the point to where I'm like, closing the door, all that. I'm like, what the fuck's that sound? It ended up the rubber grommets on the bottom, the drain grommets, got plugged up. We just fucking removed it. I pulled that one on the driver's door. What was it? A minute? You were here.
Yeah.
A minute and a half. That door drained.
Yeah.
Minute
I
and a
Just has a
half.
bad time with that.
I'd had two
Oh, well, I
2 weeks with my car when I bought it. And it was parked at work, and it was raining really hard out, and I get in it to go to lunch, and I
And you
hear
can
this sound of water splashing, and I look
But
over,
it's
and
not-
there's
it's
a
not too-
waterfall coming out of my dash, and I'm going, oh my god, I just bought this car, and now it's flooded, what do I do? And I pull it in, and I pulled that drain out, and it was completely plugged up
Yep.
with leaks.
yeah.
And I just left them out.
Yeah.
I said, no, screw that.
I-
So-
so
Stay
I
out.
ended up doing, well, the 86 didn't have them, but the slots on the drains, and that's why the Fox body doors rust, and why mine are starting to do that too, is because they just get clogged up, and
Yep.
that's why my rust got so bad on the bottom of my doors, is because it ended up from sitting, got clogged up with stuff, got a pick in there, and just all that shit.
Yeah,
pulled
so
out.
prepping for a show, I washed my car, and when I was, kind of cleaning up and everything else, have the doors open and everything, I always pick the little plastic covers over the door drains.
Mhm.
So I picked those off, and I looked in the forward, and normally they're still pretty good, but this time, like in the forward one, I could see the crazy amount of schmutz built up, and I
Yes.
literally grabbed my shop vac and
Yep.
and I could hear the shit flying out through the shop vac, and I was like, damn.
Yeah.
So I went over to the other door and did that too. So the little plastic things that go over the holes, I just pulled them out and left them out.
Yeah.
The late 90s Ford pickups, including the Explorers and Expeditions, they had the problem with, but it was with the corner seals of the windshield.
Yep.
And they would leak onto the fuse box inside the car.
The gem.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, on the Mustang, though, it wasn't the windshield that was leaking that
No,
was doing
that's
the smart
the actual
junction.
drains.
It was literally those drains would
That's
fill the
crazy.
cowl up with water, and then it would pour in through the cabin air filter.
And I mean pour. It was
Yeah.
a waterfall coming
Oh, yeah.
down. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh god.
It's crazy, just that little tiny piece, what it can do.
Yeah.
And that, like, if it doesn't work properly, what can fucking
And like I
happen
said,
with it?
his were installed correctly pointing down. Mine were installed inverted pointing up. So there was like, you had to get that much water in the cowl before it would do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, I sprung my first oil leak
Yeah.
on my car, 150K.
Congratulations, Dan, you're a man now.
Your car's officially sweating horsepower.
About time. Valve cover gasket.
Waking up
Yep.
each morning and pissing excellence.
At least it's not on the ground.
Hey, if it's leaking oil, it's got oil.
That's true.
Well,
Genesis
see, that's
316.
that's the problem. Is I went to drive home and I was like, man, my valve train sounds loud. And I pulled my dipstick and there was nothing on it. And I was like, oh, good. And then I saw the whole valve cover gasket just everywhere pissing out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll pour some oil in here for now. And I'll get a
Don't
valve
pull your
cover
dipstick
gasket.
in public there, dude.
It was the problem I did. It was bad. And I like reacted to it as such in a racetrack parking lot.
Well,
But-
Where else did
Ah!
that happen?
good news.
Good news,
Did you see
everyone!
Sandero?
It's not a Day Says Sandero. It is the fact that the 86 is on the road again.
Yes,
On the
it
road
is.
again.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
very happy
Mike,
about that.
Mike and I last on Sunday. Mike and I decided to find out what was going on with the rear brakes on that thing.
Well, and it was just the one rear brake. It wasn't
Yeah, it
both
wasn't
of them.
both of them,
It
it
was
was just the
just the one. So what was happening was, well, ever since I redid the when I did the rear end on it, and
Anyone
and
knew?
I don't think it was because all I did was fucking pull the axle out. I did not touch the brakes or anything like that on there, but just that the passenger side ended up just catching, just constantly catching and all that. Adjusted the adjuster a lot, and you were there the couple times that I adjusted the adjuster, and it just randomly would just, that one side would start sticking, and just even taking it around a block. Like, I went from here to the to Circle K.
You got slobbered.
Half a mile, pulled into the pump, got out of the driver's seat, walked over, was getting near the fuel filler, and my leg was hot. I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't even touch the actual wheel. I touched the wheel, and I instantly blistered my fingers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay,
That's what's
well,
happening here.
put a little bit of gas in it and get it home as quickly as I could. No idea what was causing it. I got the center rubber brake line, because we're like, well, let's.
We did.
replace that.
We did replace the fronts when we did the shocks because
Yeah.
the fronts were gacked.
They were. But got the car up. We got the wheel off. Brian got the drum off, and we were just looking at it. Bunch of brake cleaner sprayed off a whole bunch of stuff. And I was underneath there.
Oh yeah,
and
the amount of brake dust that was trapped up in the shoes, on the backing plate, and the springs,
probably
and
gnarly.
it was gnarly, and inside the drum and everything. But surprisingly, drum wasn't just misshapen. No unusual wear inside the drum.
I'm gonna say that the
A little
shoes
bit
are
of
still good.
trailing pad had a little bit of uneven wear at the top. I think the aftermarket wheel cylinder that was put in there like 12 years ago.
10, 12 years ago, yeah.
Just an aftermarket piece. I think it's just a little bit longer than the stock piece because the shoes, the alignment dowel at the top, the shoes don't really kind of click onto that. So it definitely kind of and we even cracked the line and just to see what would happen.
And the brake fluid was clean.
It was clean. It's not bent,
clean,
not full of water or anything like that.
No air bubbles, anything like that.
And like I said, but it didn't like come back in. So I'm thinking it's just that wheel cylinder was already bottomed out. I think it's just an aftermarket wheel cylinder. It's just a little bit too long
Yeah.
compared to the OEM piece, which they can't make it identical to the OEM piece because it's copyright infringement and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So he has the line, so we were going to change the rubber line between the body and the axle.
But it's a fucking bitch.
But it's tucked in such a way that really doing
So
the driveway. We need to have the car on the lift so that we can unhook the shock and just let the axle go full droop and
so
get better
it's
access
basically from the body to the back part, the back U joint of the drive shaft to the top part of the pumpkin.
to it. Yeah, but it's like forward of everything. So
Yeah,
like trying to actually get those lines on.
Yeah,
from where
even underneath of it, like you, there's
so
it's hard. You have
whenever
to have
he
it up on
decides
the
to
lift.
put tires on it, and on a Saturday, if you happen to be the one putting the tires on it and have it up on the lift,
We'll probably
that
fill
would
it
be
up
the
on the
time to
lift.
unbolt the shocks and let the axle go full droop, and then you can get better access to it and change it. There.
I also have really good line wrenches to break the line loose.
I did bring my flare
Yeah.
wrenches and everything.
Yeah.
They're old Craftsman's, USA made Craftsman's, but
I was gonna say that it's
But
old,
like I said-
it's rusted,
See, now
but
you've
but
brought
it's
that up
not.
and made
It's
me
not.
sad.
They're not
I
too
have
rusted.
yeah,
I
like
gotta
I said,
say, they're not too
I have a
rusted.
full set of metric and standard double end USA made Craftsman flare wrenches.
So the tool set that I use at work. Now, as everyone probably knows, I am a certified master technician with the manufacturer.
And
I
you're a shop
have
foreman.
for 10 years used the same Craftsman socket set that I bought when I started school. It was the big 260 piece that came in the 3-drawer blow molded case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had
That's
that.
the socket set I've had
That's what I
my
used.
entire career,
I have the same one.
and it's worked perfectly.
Yeah. No, I got
And
it.
if I lose one, I can't replace it.
Yeah.
Right.
I got it when I was.
I
12
lost
years
my
old.
10 millimeter,
As one does.
yeah.
as one does.
True.
So I just bought the VIM 10 millimeter master set.
Which one? Which 10 millimeter?
The 10 millimeter 3/8 deep well,
Oh.
6 point,
see, I've
6
lo-
point or 12 point?
6 point.
I've lost
don't
my
think I
12
have one of
point.
those.
I've lost my 6 point. I've lost my deep well. I've lost my short well.
I bought one of the 10 millimeter master sets.
Yeah.
It comes with every 10 millimeter you can think of. It's got a half-inch standard, half-inch deep well, quarter-inch standard, quarter-inch deep well, 3/8 standard, 3/8 deep well. It's got a 3/8 and a quarter-inch impact one. It's got a swivel quarter-inch, and it has a quarter-inch that's this long,
Nice.
and it's a super deep well.
I've seen that one. I call it the suppressor 10 millimeter.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a 10 millimeter suppressor. It's like
It
this
is.
long, and it's quarter-inch drive, and it's deep well all the way through.
And props
Brian
to-
has one too. I've used it a few times. The thing actually comes in use.
And
It was $40 for that set.
It's worth it.
Hold on.
Worth it.
props to both of you for using the term suppressor and not silencer. Thank you
Oh,
so much.
no worries, sir.
It's the kind of things that makes my ears happy.
But no, I have the same.
It makes
I had
me
the
sad
same exact
that
set.
they don't make those sockets anymore. You can buy the ones at Lowe's.
or Ace.
Not the same.
Do they sell them at Ace
Ace
too?
Hardware has.
And they
guys.
are not the same.
No, they're
are
not.
made in the same factory. They
No,
are now
they're made in China.
by
Stanley.
Cobalt.
Stanley.
They're the same ones as Cobalt.
Yeah. Well, they're made by Stanley.
Yeah, they're not the same tool.
No.
Couldn't say I use mine on the fucking Impact, and they're fine.
I've never. Like I said,
Chrome,
I don't
let's
have
go.
any of the Chinesium Craftsman sockets. All the Craftsman tools that I have are old school USA made
Right.
that I bought when I was young or that I got from my dad
Happy.
and so on and
You
so
happy.
forth. I have.
I'm hanging out with the boys.
We've worn out
I'm
Craftsman
hanging out with the
ratchets.
boys. Yeah.
See, I
I've-
don't use Craftsman ratchets.
We've worn those out. I've never broken a Craftsman socket.
Right. I've yet to strip or break a Craftsman socket. I use my half-inch set on my impact gun to remove torque plate bolts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it works perfectly.
Yeah. Like I said,
Never
I've
gives me
never
a problem.
broken.
Maybe that's where the meme came from, because I've used my Craftsman chromes on multiplicative impacts of different variances and torque ratings and never had a problem.
And
I say,
it's the
we
thing I always
used it on
bring
the
up when
fucking
I've
air,
got,
the air half-inch too.
when I've
Doesn't
got
fucking
new
matter.
guys starting in the shop and they're asking me about tools, I
Marketplace.
vehemently tell them, do not, under any circumstances, go onto that Snap-on truck and buy sockets. The only sockets I recommend from Snap-on are their impact swivels.
Yep.
They're the only ones that are actually worth what you're paying for.
Yeah,
'Cause
because
for
those
a
are really
set-
good.
So for a set
They're
of,
really good.
it's 10 through 18,
18. I thought it was 15.
no, 18,
18.
on the 3/8
Mhm.
black impact sockets.
I have seen.
They're
so- I
$360.
I
And they're
have-
worth every bit.
But-
of it.
Still
I have
impact.
seen some of the cheaper impact swivels like that shear the pins inside
Yes,
of them and
they-
just send a
the
piece
cheap ones
and
are-
basically send a projectile zinging across the shop at
Yeah,
Mach
the
3.
cheap ones are cheap for a reason. The Snap-on ones are expensive for a reason. I've had that set for 8 years. I've put them on with reducers and used it on a half-inch impact gun before.
Yeah.
Never had a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that I'm going to go on the Snap-on truck and I'm going to buy, just in metric, I'm going to buy a standard 1/4 inch, a deep well 1/4 inch, a standard 3/8, a deep well 3/8, a standard half inch, and a standard or a deep well
Decimated
half
the bank
inch.
account already.
Your Snap-on bill identifies as a student loan.
And you're talking about, so that's 2, 4, 6 socket sets, and those are 8 to 19. That's it. That's a $2,000 Snap-on bill.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck no.
I bought one thing off the Snap-on truck ever.
Absolutely not.
So you guys know Tavares' channel.
Yeah.
And you know that the spin-off channel that he had with Jared, Wrench Every Day, that is now Questionable Garage.
Correct.
A few months ago, Jared did a video of how to save $20,000 buying mechanics tools. And he basically bought a whole bunch of the Harbor Freight, the Icon tools,
Yep.
and the U.S.
Remember
General
that.
boxes, and stuff like that, and put together a, really complete beginning mechanics tool set, chest and everything, for about $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that same set of tools off of the Snap-on truck with a similar box would have been like $20,000 to $22,000.
Yeah.
Can I share you my Snap-on experience? My one time ever going on the Snap-on truck?
I got a finger.
Did it hurt afterwards?
No. You'll have to guess the prices, too. I bought one item. I needed a 54 millimeter half-inch socket.
That's $100.
More.
So like
Buck and a
that?
half?
No, not that big. Around 54 millimeter.
About that big.
That.
About can, yeah.
Oh, you
Probably
need
can a little bigger.
nut on the back of a rotary.
Correct.
Buck and a half? 2 bills?
$4.50.
If it's over 2 bills, you need your fucking head examined.
$4.50.
$18.95, thank you. It was
Wait,
20
what?
It was 20 bucks
Wow.
after tax.
Why?
Wow.
Was it a Snap-on socket or was it a gear wrench socket?
Must have been Blue Point.
Blue Point.
Blue Point, that's why.
It was a Blue Point socket off the Snap-on truck, 20 bucks. And
I'm not gonna lie, the few Blue Point tools that I've ever had. Been fantastic.
Hey, not for nothing, I was, scared because if you don't know, if it is a factory torqued motor and it's not been rebuilt, the whatever you call it, that big nut is 425 foot-pounds of torque, torqued on. And I stuck it on an impact and I went reverse and it went and came off, and I was like, is socket destroyed? No, socket's perfect. So, but yeah, $20. Big ol'. He's like, what do you need that for? Why do you need a 54 millimeter? And I was like, it's the flywheel nut on a rotary engine. He's like, all right, whatever, man. All right, I'll order it for you. He's like, it's like $20 after tax. And I said, that's it? And he said, yeah. And I was like, here's my card, bro. Like, I was expecting to have to open an account with you.
What broke me was
Unfortunately, they could not do anything with my old ass test light. God damn it.
Nope. What broke me
Bastards.
with Snap-on was when I was in Savannah, I priced out a new toolbox. Now, if you go to Harbor Freight right now, they have their Icon toolbox set up. And what they have is they have a 54-inch cabinet with the 54-inch garage door hutch and a side cabinet, a side locker that has 3 drawers in the bottom.
That's a bad bitch, actually.
And if you buy that,
Now, how much is that whole setup from Harbor Freight?
that's what I was going to say, their whole setup from Harbor Freight.
About $2,500? $3,000?
No, in the
I was gonna say
Icon
probably
boxes,
$500.
that's like $5,500.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And that's the 72-inch cabinet, not the 54 that they have set up. Because I priced out the 72.
Cry.
And I went on the Snap-on rock and roll cab that came by and priced out that exact same setup.
Keep held down
72-inch.
Cabinet, hutch, and the locker.
So 72-inch Master Series box with the LED lighted stainless steel topper, the cabinet, the garage door hutch, and a side locker.
15,000?
I would buy 2 at that price.
30?
38.
$27,000.
Does that come with a tube of KY jelly?
So how was your
It
hold on,
better
hold on.
come with 4-wheel drive and a 5-liter at that price.
At that point, how was your 2018 Mustang GT with the 6-speed?
Right. Now, this thing, it ain't got a radio in it. It don't have air conditioning.
They don't have heated seats.
It don't have heated seats.
It
It
don't
doesn't
even
have
have a-
sat nav.
No
It doesn't-
tools.
it doesn't
nothing
have
like
Bluetooth.
that.
It
It's
doesn't
an
even-
empty shell.
It
For
doesn't
that
even
price,
have
I
a
better
flashlight.
for that price, I better open up the locker and find a hooker and a kilo of Coke.
No, at that price, I better open up the top drawer and have $20,000 in gold bricks right there. Well, a gold brick that's worth $20,000.
It didn't even come with the sex robot.
Gold-plated
But-
ratchets.
That $27,000 for a toolbox. I'm gonna let everyone in on the secret.
That is
Toolboxes.
a half of our almost a half of our fucking house.
Toolboxes don't make you no money.
No, they don't.
Do you know what makes you money in my industry?
Working.
The tools inside the toolbox.
Yes.
So if I
And-
store
and-
all my tools in milk crates
And your knowledge
Yeah.
of using them.
and my knowledge of using them, if I store all my tools in milk crates in my shop,
You'll make just as much
I
money
will
as...
make exactly as much money as I would if I spent $27,000 on a toolbox. It's just metal and hinges.
Yeah.
And believe me, you can pimp one of those out and have it up in the 40s.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Oh yeah, you can go crazy
Like,
and have
that-
a $40,000
I-
Snap-on toolbox.
I saw a meme that was floating around the internet, and it was this, like,
The next one, do you want to split?
high octane?
Well, it's only 6, but still. I just know we gotta leave up early.
I'll be all right.
Okay.
I saw a meme, and it was this dude,
Sure, if you want to.
all big and rugged, standing in front of a
The big one?
massive,
The two-story
See,
one.
like
the
a
problem is-
massive toolbox.
That's real. That's not a meme. Like the amount.
Well, no. The
Like-
meme was, it was like this absolutely ginormous toolbox. It was like a rolling goddamn apartment that you just kept in the shop.
Yeah.
And it basically, at the bottom, it said, "This is Bob. Bob's kids aren't going to college." And below it had another guy with a Snap-on hat. "This is Rick, Bob's tool guy. Rick's kids are going to college."
Yes. Rick's kids are going to Harvard and Yale.
Yeah, I like kind of did a deep dive into that, and So from what everybody who even personally knew the dude could figure things out, that setup with the tools inside was about $197,000 worth.
Yeah. That's insane.
I have to be making $500,000 a year before I can contemplate spending that much money on a toolbox.
You know, so obviously we recently had the big lottery that was over $1 billion and all that kind of stuff. And there's always the jokes that go around. It's like, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be signs. One of the signs that you would absolutely not see in my 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 25-car air-conditioned garage full of lifts and weird cars,
Lady girl.
you would not find a single snap-on tool.
Right.
None. Just wouldn't happen.
Lady, are you having fun hanging out?
Oh, yeah.
The Marsens.
Are you? Oh, what'd you think? You're a
Oh,
ducky.
it's time.
Oh, lady got her
It's
ducky.
October, ladies
So-
and gentlemen.
It's one of those.
Oh, it's Sierra Nevada,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
I didn't have this.
I've never seen this one. The Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest.
Brewed in collaboration
With whom?
with Kerweeder Brewery.
Give everybody a view
I mean,
Really?
fuck
of
it,
this
fine.
wonderful
I'll get one.
Mars and Lager.
Hey, one of my friends on Facebook just recently visited the Sierra Nevada Brewery in his super awesome Charger. So that's cool. Oktoberfest, I love the art, and yeah, collaboration with Kier, I'm assuming it's German, so Kier Wieder Brewery. Because it's K.
Kerweeder.
Yeah, Kerweeder.
Kerweeder.
Remember, W's or V's, Kerweeder.
Kerweeder.
Whoa! Lady coming
I
hot.
am excited.
Lady, you've been the VIP of the show tonight, haven't you?
She
Keeping
wasn't
us
coming in
happy.
hot. She was going out
Yeah,
hot.
she was. We were ducky. Ooh. It smells like an Oktoberfest. It's the right color, too.
So, you know, I was thinking about all these Oktoberfests, all these Marsens that are coming out at this time of year.
That's a Mars and Lager.
And this is the same time of year when pumpkin spice everything comes out.
Oh,
and
you
you
feel
always,
that breeze?
I know.
So Marzen
Is it finally
is
coming
just
back?
beer guys pumpkin spice.
You do realize
So
Monday,
basically-
the low is going to be 49.
I do.
So-
I'm so happy.
We look at all the pumpkin spice lattes and the pumpkin spice candles and the
Can't wait
pumpkin
to
spice
hear
pillows and the pumpkin
the
spice
noises
motor
and the
oil
things.
and the pumpkin spice everything, and we're like, oh my god, how basic is that?
And then we get all excited about Marzen.
Does this make us just basic?
We're basic beer bitches.
No, you're not.
Hi, lady.
Y'all ain't me. You don't go out of your way to get an IPA.
Because
I'm
if,
the basic
hey,
beer bitch.
If
That's
you
true.
if you want a pumpkin beer, like I said, I got two-year-old pumpkins in there. So
Well, these aren't
Right.
pumpkin beers. These are just,
Yeah.
these
October.
are Marzens.
Happy
I'm
October,
saying.
boys.
Happy October.
The season,
Let's get spooky.
the season for us has officially begun.
No, actually,
Yes.
we're ending because Oktoberfest is over. now.
It's still
no.
October, damn it.
It's October, and this is the
Oh,
first,
yeah.
and this is the first Marzen we've had.
Oh, that's yeah.
Ooh. That's smooth. Ooh. Ooh.
It's laughing at me.
Ooh.
You know what? We might very well be basic bitches for doing the Marzen thing like everybody else does the pumpkin spice
no,
thing.
No, it
That's-
doesn't matter.
But I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
I don't care.
That's good.
Oktoberfest.
My
Yeah,
basic
yes.
ass is going to sit here and be happy and drink this Oktoberfest beer.
Absolutely.
That's fucking
Y'all
smooth.
can have your orange beers, your key limes, all
I
that.
need another. I need another.
My
Yeah, that's good right there.
you get
That's good.
you give me an Oktoberfest and oh I'm so
And the breeze is starting to right now.
I'm just so
Oh.
happy with
Gotta
it.
love a good October.
Fall starting in Florida, the tornadoes came. So.
I really hope that the dry air that's supposed to be here Sunday shows up tomorrow.
Dude, because yesterday, like when I went out, because I didn't know if we were working, I got up at like 6:30. When I went outside,
I was already at work when I got told, hey, school's canceled. And I'm like, I already clocked in.
was it not disgusting yesterday?
Oh, it was
morning?
so
it was,
nasty
It was
out.
so
So
hot and muggy.
Hey, no, all day. I had 12.
It felt like I got dropped in a tropical rainforest
listen,
Hey, we've been
yesterday.
used to the nice days.
Listen, I had 12 classrooms that I had to put buckets underneath the AC vents because
The
How-
it
condensation.
was
humid it was?
so humid out
Jeez.
that the condensation inside the vent
Was pouring down.
was pouring down.
It wasn't
They're
even.
like,
it-
oh, we got a roof leak. I'm like, it stopped raining 2 hours ago. But I'm like, no. With the wind and the amount of rain that we got, if you had a roof leak, You would have known you had a roof leak. I'm like, I walk outside, I can't see. My glasses instantly go up. I'm like, no, it is so much humidity. You're just pouring condensation out. I'm like,
It was
wait
brutal.
till tomorrow, it'll be
It was
gone.
brutal. And yeah, by tomorrow night, or not tomorrow, Sunday night, I think is when it's supposed to be like. Sunday's supposed to be like mid 70 high, and then like
And low
of-
humidity, and real low humidity.
and like low of
Monday is
Yay,
Monday is
confused.
a high of 71,
And
low of 49. Tuesday,
allegedly we'll be done with the
68,
80s.
68, and then
I'm
48.
just hoping that the dry air that's supposed to be here, because, like I said, all week long the radar was showing tomorrow.
Can we talk about that finally?
Tomorrow was supposed to be nasty and rainy.
Because also, I know we talked about my brakes, but I want to say the fucking 86 is on the road! Like, we're driving it!
And the reason we decided to get it on the road was because...
It's going to be the first time it's at an actual fucking car show in 4 goddamn years.
Yes!
4 years! It went from
So,
winning gold, looking really good, to it's a shitbox now, but it's
It
fucking
rules.
on the road.
Welcome to vehicle ownership.
however, but like I said, the car fights us.
Goddamn, that car fights us. When that car fights us,
It fights us.
It is a 5-month fucking journey.
Hey,
like
but we-
the rear end.
Rebuilding the diff, oh my god.
Oh my god,
Yes.
that went from
Yeah,
a
Mike and I were
afternoon.
like solid cruising earlier.
That
though.
went
was-
from an afternoon fucking. Hey, we're gonna do this to step 1. Okay, step 2. Fuck.
Break, snap.
Fuck.
At that point, destroy what you have to destroy to get this motherfucker done.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
And
but
5 months
one-
later, got it done.
got it done. But goddamn, when that
broken
works,
piece finally came out, it yeeted across the yard.
It did, and that was like, I cried, and like seriously, I cried when that happened. When that went flying out, I was in so much shock that, and Sabrina was too, because she was just sitting in the chair looking at Facebook, and she heard it, and then she looked, and she's like,
Fling.
"Was that?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yes.
She picked it up. She's like, "Oh my god." I'm underneath the car, bawling my eyes out. And I don't care what people say. That is 5 months of frustration and tension. Step 2 finally completed itself.
Yeeted
I
itself-
can now
yeeted
move
itself
on to
out across
step
the yard.
3. Step 3 of 10. I can finally move on to step 3. And within that 2-hour period, I fucking had the entire car back together. like,
Yeah, that's
So-
that feeling
okay,
when
so wait a
you're
minute, so
5
what you-
months into that 30-minute job.
Exactly.
So basically what you're saying was, it was an afternoon job. You started it on one afternoon,
and then
And finished
5
it.
months later you finished it on that afternoon.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But-
no, the car is going, and the car is going. It just
It's
goes.
going to drive there.
Yeah, we did 12 miles when we got it going. Me and him did 12
Well,
miles.
we did a couple of miles, and then he noticed the temperature was going up, which that car never does.
I was gonna say it ended up hitting the R in normal, so it goes low N to L to high. It hit R. It was dead middle.
So it was like all of a sudden he
Fox
was just like, nope, turn around and come back to the house. I was like, what's up? He's like, it's hot. I'm like, oh yeah, it is.
Fox bodies, especially like my 2 86s that I ever had. That thing never went past the O. It went N-O, stays there. Always. Never. If it's in the middle, it's running hot.
Well, it's like my truck.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's same
it's
error.
on the end.
it's
same error.
Yeah.
If
Or-
it's running normally, it's in the end.
yeah, if
If
it's
it goes
in the
past
middle,
the end, I'm
it's
like,
hot.
ooh, it's
Yeah.
starting to get a little warm.
Yeah, exactly.
If it goes up to the
If
M,
it goes if it goes between the O and the R, you're pulling over.
like
Yeah.
if it gets to the M,
pull over
it
immediately.
starts dropping oil pressure.
Yeah. So it was. I realized that, and we made it 2 blocks, and I'm like, nope, let's go. Like he's like, what? I'm like, we need to go home. I'm
Like,
like,
it's-
it's on the O. He's like,
Home.
what? And I'm like, no, it's going to the R. It's on the R. It's dead middle. He's like, but that no. Home.
Yep.
So,
So we get back here, open up the hood. I think sounds all right. Start feeling around.
we let it sit for just a minute.
Let it
just
sit
to
for a little bit.
Make sure.
Radiator knows it hot. Okay, thermostat's popped. Passenger side tank, a little bit warm. Driver side tank completely cold. And then he notices that the overflow bottle is empty. He's like, all right, put water in it. He fills it up. And I'm thinking, fires it up. I'm feeling everything. I'm like, no. So I went ahead and don't crack the radiator when the engine's warm. I cracked the radiator and nothing came out. Looked down. I was like, oh, the radiator's halfway empty.
Uh-huh.
We put water in it. Cranked it up, and immediately the temperature gauge goes
Down
right,
to
Alright.
to the end.
right back where it's supposed to be. And it's like,
it's literally,
all right,
it went,
let's roll.
It went from the R and M straight to the N.
Right
I'm
where
like,
it normally
alright,
is. It's
let's
like,
go.
all right. So as we back out of the backing out of the driveway, Iron Maiden, somewhere in time, 1986.
Well, I'm trying to open up the glove box, and I'm like, Brian, grab the tape, throw it in there. He's like, alright.
Gotcha. Boom.
Alexander the Great came on, and we just fucking...
And it was funny.
14 minutes of Alexander the Great.
And it was funny because when the tape went to flip side, he's like, wait a minute, was that the last song on side A? And I'm like, I don't
can't
know.
remember.
I'm like, I haven't listened to Somewhere on Time on a cassette tape since 1989.
Right.
But it's great. We were listening to 1986 Iron Maiden and a 1986 Mustang.
With the stock AM
Yeah.
FM tape deck.
And then today, me and Dan went out. We threw in Monster Ballads
Yes.
tape.
Dan got the 1986 experience.
So yeah, we were listening to Warrant, and then we went to Poison, and
Yep.
we were just cruising around and But
So
yeah,
again,
so that car is currently
car?
in shitbox shape, but shiny shitbox.
But
shape.
clean shitbox.
Yes.
And running, driving shitbox.
Yes.
So that car fights us until it decides not to fight us.
Then it gives us the time of its life.
And
Well,
then we
time
go
of our lives.
And then we go for a ride and throw in 1986 hair metal.
Yep.
And it rules.
Yes.
It's
That's
not
all
the
it
fa-
wants.
it's not the fastest
That's all
car.
it wants.
It's not the
No.
fastest car. My 4-point slow will smoke it in a drag race.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter.
Fucking
Doesn't matter.
You can put a Geo Metro next to it and it'll probably smoke it. Like,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's one of those when
When
that
it
car
when it
works,
stops fighting us and when it works, and you throw 80s hair metal in the tape deck and you just cruise around, it rules.
And
Listen,
that-
it's
but-
like the meme. It's the guy. There was a 4-panel meme that was getting posted around for a while. It's this guy in a Stingray Corvette, like a 76, 77 Corvette, and this guy goes, that car's not even that fast. You know that,
he's
right?
in the Camry.
And he
like
goes-
that guy leaning out.
Yeah,
in
the guy in
Camry.
the Camry. He's like, that car's not even that fast, bro. Your mom's minivan will beat me in a drag race. I literally do not care.
But I can do
Burnout
burnouts.
Yes.
With glasses and.
That's
Mike-
it's like my car.
Okay, Mike.
My
at the
car
risk-
is 300 horsepower. A modern SUV will leave me sitting at a stoplight. I literally do not care
To
because
the tires.
burnout noise.
To
To
the
the-
tires.
okay, to that-
160 horsepower.
To that,
I
to
don't
that extent,
care.
to that extent right there, Mike, please cover your ears because I don't want you to like cry at this. So, the Cobra went away, and it was on the trailer, and the guy, the husband that was helping get the car up on the trailer and everything, he's like, I just think this car's like too much for him. I just don't want him to wreck this car and get too crazy out of hand. I'm like, it's only got 300 horsepower. A Camry will smoke this thing from a red
Right.
light. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Because a Camry is just a soulless appliance.
Right. This
But-
is a car.
But like I said, that's the thing though. With your car and with the Cobra and with the 86 and my Fox body and the cars I had in my past, you rev it up, dump the clutch, smoke the tires, bang shift, do dulcich game, bang shift all the
You're
gears,
doing
and do
the
all the
speed
crazy
limit.
stuff. And yes, a modern minivan, a modern Econobox sedan will absolutely annihilate you at a stoplight. Doesn't matter. It's the emotion.
Right. I'm having fun.
It's the emotion.
It's one of those, so everybody knows my emotional attachment to that car. But once you get in the car and you ride along with me, you understand it. Like, and it's one of those, Dan had a bigger smile on his face than I think I did.
Wait a minute. Has Dan driven it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that car.
Yes.
The
But
car's
it's one of
fantastic.
those, like, when we were driving, he was giggling more than I was. And he's just like, I love this car. Like, I love this car.
Like,
Like,
literally,
it
we
does-
came up to a stop sign. I was like, I love this car. And right before that, I heard Mike say something weird, the music up, and I heard him say this car. That's all I heard. And I said, did you just say I love this car? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I just did too. I love
Like,
this thing.
Bro, I drove the truck to work today because I was worried about the roads.
And you're like, I love this
And
car.
I love this truck.
Like,
Yes.
This
exactly.
truck is great.
Exactly.
I keep thinking about I want to do something with the truck. I want to coyote swap it or something like that. But then I drive it and I'm like,
And it
It's
this
fine.
truck is perfect. This
It's
truck
fine.
is fine.
It does.
Why would I
change it?
ruin this truck by doing something like that? This truck is great.
Like,
Exactly.
and it's one of those, like, trust me, I would love to throw a cam into I would love to have the choppy chop and all that stuff. I would fucking love that. But at the same point, and I would love to, do really good suspension and all that, but
Chris has got a drivetrain for sale.
Sorry. But it's one of those, like,
the engine bay on my car was designed to hold any V8 from Ford's inventory.
I mean,
but it's one of those.
If you're peeking the idea, Chris will. I'm pretty sure he will.
Do I want to?
I mean, I've got access to a Coyote for really cheap.
With the ECU and everything.
The only upgrades my car has is literally shorty headers and an off-road H pipe. That's it, and Flowmaster. Like, okay, that and a short throw shifter. Okay,
which is literally just the shifter handle on the stock T5 shitbox shifter.
Yeah, so I'm still going. Ha! Ha!
You're going. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Sounds like
T5 life.
Yeah.
T5 life.
But no, it's one of those.
Yeah, go for the
T5 life.
Do I want to do that? Kind of, but also it would lose its personality.
It would. It is what it is.
Like it's one of those.
That's
a stock car that does stock car.
It's
good.
the car. It's the car that fights us until it doesn't, and then we drive it and it rules.
Right,
and then it fights us again. That's just what it does.
If it was more modified, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be the 86. It wouldn't be that.
It's the Apopka 86.
It's the sloppy suspension, the sloppy steering.
Yeah.
It makes the car. It makes that.
Hey. The Akina 86, the Apopka 86.
Exactly.
Right. Just how it is.
So tomorrow is our the big show. Brian, you basically run the judges and that. So what would we expect for, like, if someone's never been to a judge show before, what should they expect?
Now this does vary.
Also, sorry, I know we're running along.
So anyway, this does vary. No. This does sort of vary from show to show. Some shows are literally kind of more of an opinion about mods and things like that. Most of the shows that we go to are judged on preparation and cleanliness. And usually if you see something really interesting in a car, that gets marked on the sheet, and sometimes that ends up being a tiebreaker. So usually what we do is we have a score sheet that's broken up into 4 categories, maximum 25 points per, plus 1 point for a fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher requirement for some shows came about because you had shows that were held on grass fields. So you have cars that have cruised in, some long haulers, some short haulers, stuck in line, or as the Brits say, stuck in a queue waiting to get in. Exhaust parts get hot, engine parts get hot, you're parking on a grass field, and sometimes, unfortunately, there have been fires for that. Oh, yeah. From just hot exhaust burning the grass.
Fantasy of Flight, we've seen that to where they've literally had to push cars away because
away from the burning grass and then put the grass out. So that's why when you go to a car show, you will sometimes see fire extinguisher required. Originally, that started out for shows on grass fields, but it's kind of migrated into either fire extinguisher required, or some will be like fire extinguisher will be an extra point on your judge score.
So it's one of those that's trying to get you to bring it.
It's trying to get you to bring it, and it's not just for your car.
It's for everybody's car.
It's for anybody's car, because if everybody's basically said, "Hey, bring a fire extinguisher,"
and you have to have it shown to where
it has to be. It has to be visible.
On fire, boom, grab it.
It has to be either sit in front of your car or somewhere. Like, mounted on a thing in the floorboard, or mounted in the trunk, or mounted somewhere where it's easily accessible, easily visible, so the judge can see it. But also, in case somebody's car has a fire, you're surrounded by people with fire extinguishers to put it out.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? So that's always the thing. But mainly it's on cleanliness and preparation. And my thing with that is, if you can see it and reach it, it should be clean.
Yeah.
People do it kind of different ways. My thing is, we're 25 points on each section, maximum of 101 points maximum. And I always tell judges that we get, and a lot of times we get judges that are not car people. They've never judged a show before.
If you have an MCA sticker, it's an extra point.
That's for a Mustang. Typically for a Mustang show.
But
this is kind of like a general thing. So like the Black Diamond Invitational, where we pissed off the internet with the Corolla.
That thing was clean, though.
That was awesome. Or, like I said, the Mopar Club, where they have the Beauties and Beasts show, or Multi Things, or the Citrus County Cruisers has their show. When it comes to judging, I always look, okay, we have a maximum of 25 points. Kind of want to look at 19 to 20 as kind of what your average score is going to be. So if you see something that's exceptional, you have room to judge up.
Right.
You see something that needs work, you have room to move down. But even with that, most of the time I've noticed that once I explain that to the judges are really consistent through all of the cars they look at. Because we tell them, we're like, look, the first cars you look at might be the coolest thing you may have personally seen. Don't give that a 25. Because down the line, you're going to see something nicer or cleaner, better prepared or whatever. So, and a lot of times, most of the time, with rare exception, but most of the time we actually see the judges are really consistent with what they do. Once we explain to them, this is what we're looking at, and we'll usually find a car that's not being judged, and we'll go around and we'll explain, this is what we're looking for, okay, this is where you would deduct points, this is where you could go up a little bit. This thing here is one of those things you would mark on the sign line, hey, this car had this. In the event that we start looking and started tallying the judge seats, if we see scores, we see some identical scores in a certain class, then somebody else that has not gone out and see the cars, two of us will go out and we will look at the two cars and we'll basically do the tiebreaker.
Right.
And last year it was me and Brian Two Legs that went and did that. And that was, but we only had one to deal with, so that wasn't that bad.
But I also like how y'all explain to, like, let's say with the 86, to where you tell them, listen, it might not be, you know, pristine, bright, and all that stuff. You clean this one part, it is going to look that way no matter, like, the sides in my engine bay, I can clean them all day long. They still look.
How many miles does that car have on it?
200,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
going to look like a 200,000 mile, 33-year-old car.
Right.
Well,
43-year-old car.
38-year-old
car. It's going to look like a nearly 40-year-old car.
Like there's paint missing. There's stuff. It's clean, but it's not bright. It's
like
not
said,
shiny. It's clean, but it's not bright and shiny.
You know, and we also tell them, we're like, look, you're going to run across cars that have
full
2,500 miles on them. You might see a brand new car. You might see a car that's 15 years old that has 1,500 miles on it because it's never driven. Obviously, that car is going to should look perfect because it's got no miles on it. It also should be absolutely clean.
Or you could look at a 6-year-old car that had a full rotisserie, you know.
You could see a car you could see a full custom car that's been, had $100,000 spent on it. It'd absolutely be perfect. But you're going to see another car that's got 180,000 miles on it that's 7 years old. There's going to be some wear on that car.
Right.
Okay? As long as the parts that are worn are clean, don't worry about the wear.
Right.
Just make sure that the car's been prepared and that it's clean. If you can see it and reach it, it should be clean. Or more to the point, I tell them, because when they look at me, they're like, I tell them, if I can see it and reach it, it should be clean.
Right.
If you see that part on my car, it's clean on my car, it should be clean on that car.
Right.
Yeah, my car's coming with so many spider webs tomorrow. It's fucking
his car's coming with wildlife in it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Like, and it's one of those, I could have taken it off.
But you didn't want to.
Around the IAC, there's a huge spider web with fucking eggs on there, and I'm
I wonder if it's related to. I wonder if it's related to the spider that we pulled out from behind the headlights.
It might be, but I'm fucking leaving it. I'm leaving it because I don't give a shit. Because I want to be there and be like,
so the headlights in his car. This was years ago.
10 years ago.
I noticed that the headlight in his car was like all kind of wonky looking, and I was
it was 2 weeks after I bought the car. So
it was all wonky looking.
Ago.
I was like, okay, we need to fix that so you can see at night. So he and I jumped in the car, went up to NPD in Ocala, and got the whole headlight bushing and adjuster, all the plastic pieces.
$25, thank you, NPD.
For like brand new parts that were perfect. So it was like, all right, this weekend or next week, and come over to the house, we'll put all that stuff in. So Mike and Sabrina come over to the house and grab tools. We go out there, and
first headlight we pull.
He and I start pulling this thing out, massive Black Widow nest with a Black Widow looking at us, going, "Come on, guys!"
The biggest fucking Black
hey,
Widow.
Man, I live here.
No, seriously, the biggest Black Widow I've ever seen.
Needless to say, my response to that was, "The answer is incorrect. The penalty is death."
Right.
It got brake cleaned.
Yep.
Also,
there was
what was behind there besides the spider?
Pieces of rubber hose to
prop the
headlight up. It was bad. But anyway, but like I said back in the show, so I actually had this discussion at a Mopar Club show where I was a judge. See, now that's another thing too. Like our club is kind of different than everybody else's. We do not judge the cars.
Right.
We do not, because we have some of our members that the only show they go to is our show. And we don't want to be one of those clubs like, oh, well, the president got a trophy. Oh, well, their club members got all the trophies. Blah, blah. No, we don't do any of that. If a club member gets a trophy, it's because other people have judged the car and they scored it, and that's where the scores ended up. So we always
a lot of people don't realize.
So we always get people not in our club, and we prefer to get people not in any car club, like not car people at all,
Right.
to come be our judges. And we give them a crash course in what we want, set them loose, and then we look at the sheets as they're coming in. As long as they're consistent, we're like, whether they're high or whether they're low, as long as they're consistent, cool.
Yeah, you're judging every car the same. That's all.
And
I care about.
And it works out. So I was judging for another car club, and there was a truck there that was like a special edition and had really low miles on it. And I
was that the one that we were there too?
The Mr. Norm's Dodge truck,
Yeah.
where the one guy. Anyway, so I was judging. Me and our friend Howard, we were judging the engine bay. That was what we were looking at.
I think us and Ed were the wheels.
You guys were exterior and wheels.
Yeah.
Somebody else was the interior and trunk.
Yeah.
Somebody else was the exterior, and somebody else was. So it's usually we'll like the four things. So there's going to be engine bay, exterior, which usually includes wheels and tires, and sometimes not. Interior and trunk, and sometimes the wheels and tires are kind of a separate class.
Normally two people for each thing.
So we usually get a team of 8 people. 2 people each do a section, and they just pass the sheet along. So in this particular one, me and Howard were judging engine bays. Mm-hmm. And I went up and looked at this truck, and I could tell, I kind of knew what the truck was when I saw it, because I'm like, you guys...
Mr. Norm.
We're car nerds, we know this shit.
Yeah.
We drink beer, and we know this shit. So I looked at the engine bay, and I was like, whew, okay. And I started docking points off of it. And as we were kind of handing off the sheets, guy from the club that was hosting the show came up and said, hey, why is this truck scored so low? So I told him. I was like, well, I found this, and this should be perfectly clean, and it's not. And it's a very low mile vehicle. It hasn't been driven much. These areas should be clean. And the guy from the show said, yeah, but it's a special edition truck and it should be scored differently. And I said, no, it should not. The criteria we were giving was cleanliness and preparedness. This clearly wasn't. I said, my car is a daily driver. My car is not entered in the show. My car's sitting over in the display area, and if you look at everything that I marked down and go look at that on my car, all mine's clean.
Right.
If I can do it on my car, this guy can do it on this car. And furthermore, mine's a daily. This isn't.
Right.
Needless to say, that guy never gave me crap about judging ever again. The funniest one that I ever saw was we were judging interiors and ran across like the 70s Dodge Dart. And I looked at the interior and it was just dusty. The carpets needed to be vacuumed and the dash needed to be wiped down and the seats needed to be vacuumed. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of go. The guy's lazy. But then I noticed something in the back seat. It was a cordless dustbuster still in the box, sitting in the back seat. And all I could do was look at that and go,
Nah.
I'm not sure if that was an oversight or if the dude is just trolling us. I kind of hope the dude is trolling us, and that's what I wrote on the sheet. I was like, dustbuster, nice troll. Because I thought that was just the funniest damn thing. So, yeah, we do have a sense of humor about it. But, yeah, like I said, so car shows aren't really this big, scary thing.
Right.
And a lot of people think that it is. And
Now there are some car shows, like if you go to a Mustang Club of America.
Oh yeah, they're
like if you now it's two different. There's 2 different sections to an MCA show. Like you can go and they'll do judging that's very similar to what we do, but maybe a little more pickier about it because we use
the MCA modified.
We use MCA modified, which is a little more lenient. They do MCA, which is a little more stricter. But then they also have a concourse class, and the concourse class is where they're looking for date stamps and hose marks and paint marks,
which is where Ed's car would be fucking amazing.
Ed's like
yeah,
basically like that. Like Ed could enter his car into a concourse type of thing. Mm-hmm. Yes and no, because some of what Ed's done with some of the decals, some of the stickers, is not exactly correct for the car, but it's correct for the idea.
Right.
Now, he would get some credit for that, but then somebody would notice, well, that's not exactly correct.
Hey, that's the wrong part number on that sticker. That's
exactly.
Not right.
Now, back to what I mentioned about when we pissed the internet off at the Black Diamond Invitational show, and this is normally mostly American cars, but over the past few years, we've actually started seeing some imports come in, and they haven't gotten the same kind of respect yet. I respect the hell out of them, and And, like I said, and that was the thing. Like, I was paired up with somebody who was like, full bore, 50s, 60s American cars, everything else is crap. And I was like...
You weren't with that.
No, I was with Ken's wife. And she's cool. Okay,
yeah,
she's cool. This
yeah.
lady's cool as shit. But she was just like, I just don't understand these foreign cars. And one of the cars that we were looking at was...
81.
Was a first gen Z.
Yep.
So I explained to her, I said, no, I said, this is where, you have to understand something about these particular cars. I said, the reasons why cars like that, the Triumph Spitfire, that was 2 cars down, ceased to exist in the American marketplace was because of this car. I said, this car, automotive history-wise, is extremely significant. And once I kind of explained that, because I basically filled in knowledge that she didn't have. Once I explained that to her, then she started to appreciate what it was. And she was like, oh, okay. So we were judging on the same criteria, cleanliness, preparation, and things like that. So you had boomers in Corvettes that would just drive across the wet grass, park their car, set up their lawn chair and their umbrella, pop the hood up.
Put the leaning, crying babies on the front of it.
Yes, those guys. Those guys. Don't even get me started on that. I just want to kill those things with fire. And then they would just sit on their chair and not clean the wet grass off of everything. And then wonder why they didn't win anything,
Right.
So there was this 1980 Toyota Corolla
Was it 80
wagon.
or 81?
It was an 80. Toyota Corolla wagon.
Brown.
It was kind of a gold color with brown interior.
Brown.
192,000 miles. Survivor car. And it had some paint chips that had been touched up and things like that. The guy had it backed up on ramps, mirrors to show underneath. The underside was as clean as the top side. The interior was absolutely mint. And you've seen like the NCRS Corvette guys go absolutely nuts over date stamps and stickers and little paint marks on hoses and original parts and things like that. Well, this little Toyota had every bit of that. Like all the Jatco parts, all the TEN parts, like every NOS original Toyota part that you could put on this car was on this car. And it was a survivor. It was an unrestored car that had just been maintained and repaired its whole life. And it was the kind of car that was basically an appliance that was just thrown away when it was done, but this one survived. And the dude did an absolutely amazing job preparing it for this show. Now, we didn't really, because we do a car and we move on to the next car. And in our heads, we're not keeping track of what we marked the 35 cars that we've already looked at. We look at that car, we score it, we move on to the next one. Well, it turned out, we scored that car the highest. And it ended up winning Best of Show. And the internet lost its fucking mind.
So many boomers were so mad.
The boomers were mad. And then, like, there's a lot of other people that were younger than boomers and just, like, American car guys and the whole 9 yards that were looking at that. They lost their shit over that. And it was glorious. Watching the internet get so mad that this 81 Corolla wagon ended up winning was amazing. Like, it was to the point where the people that were running the show came up to us and asked us, like, are you sure about this score? And we're like, yeah, we're absolutely... We didn't know that it was the top scoring car, because, like I said, focus on a car and move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. And what we saw 5 minutes ago, we're not even caring about. It's later on, after we're done judging, we'll go around and look at a few cars that we may have piqued our interest and stuff like that. They went over and they asked us, well, you scored this car really high, why did you score this way? And I explained to them, I said, look, you Corvette guys, and you Mopar guys, and you Ford guys, and you Chevrolet guys, and you Camaro guys, I said, you guys go nuts over date-correct parts, and you guys go nuts over NOS parts, and you guys go nuts over stickers and chalk marks and paint marks and stamps on hoses and correct belts and all this stuff. I was like, everything you guys go nuts about, this little car has. It's just Toyota parts instead of American parts.
How dare it be an import?
Like I said, it's like this has everything you guys are nuts about. This car's got that. And I said, you want to cleanliness and preparedness? I said, this guy did it right. That's why we scored the car the way we did. And again, we still didn't know that was the highest scoring car.
Right.
And they all went over and looked at it because we spoke with them afterwards. Like, so, and they're like, yeah, you were absolutely right. They said we didn't believe it, but you were right. It ended up winning Best of Show. Internet lost its mind, and it was glorious. And that's as far as car show judging, that is still my favorite car show judging.
There were so many boomers that were mad because they had their Corvette that had the red stitching on the steering wheel.
But mine was made on a Tuesday.
It had
the
yellow.
moon was.
It had the yellow seat belts. and it had the ZL1 embroidered on the headrest, and they were so angry they got beat by a brown Corolla.
Harvest Gold. But like I said, their car was one of 3 that was built during lunch on a Tuesday.
So
But Barb said
but
that
it
I
was
got
one
the
of
best
those-
Corvette because my Corvette has the red stitching on it.
Barb, my red stitching was made on a Tuesday.
So Brian's not on social media, and it was one of those, I did not know the outcome of this. I didn't even know that, like, they were doing awards at that point. I saw the post and saw angriness, and I screenshot and I was like, "Ha! Look what's at the show." He's like, "Yeah, I judged that. It deserved it." And I started screenshotting. He's like,
Mike was going
wow.
through.
And
Mike
he's
was going.
really still at the show. He's like, the guy's getting his award now, and I'm like, look at this shit. Look
Mike's
at it.
Mike's scrolling through and screenshotting all the comments, and I'm just sitting there.
I spent
Like-
$8,000
like
on
The
it.
show wasn't even over. I'm like, dude, look at all this shit.
Like for real, like everybody's standing around and waiting for their awards, and like
Not the Toyota Corolla.
I guess I don't know. I guess some of the other judges had been saying they're like, "Hey man, this little car over here, it's not my thing, but this thing's amazing."
You dang on don't tell me no Toyota Corolla god dang take over my Corvette gobbles.
Gobbles.
Gobbles,
Gobbles.
gobbles.
So anyway, like I said, I guess there was people that had already been like some of the judges had kind of said they're like, "Yeah man, we checked out this little car over here and it's amazing." So I guess there was already kind of like people were already kind of like taking notice of it because of that, like what the rest of the judges were saying. And I'm sitting back over here like literally just kind of I'm just waiting for the awards to go up, and my phone's pinging off, and I see and Mike's just screenshotting all of these posts. How the hell are all these people talking about this little Corolla? Blah 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 blah. And then they announce him as the best of show, and then the next screenshots are like, I can't believe that fucking thing won. What the hell's wrong with these people? All these cool American cars, and this thing wins. What the hell? That show's garbage. Why would people lost their ever-loving minds over that? And it
I
was
was screenshot. I'm like, I'm in my underwear sitting on the couch. I'm like, Brian, this is good. This is
and I'm
good.
like, yeah, we're here judging. We just saw it. He was like, right, like, yes, this car absolutely is going to, whatever it gets, it absolutely earned.
Oh no, I saw the pictures and I was like, no, this thing is
But it was
good for you.
But again, you can bring almost anything to a car show.
as long as it's prepared right, you're good.
But also, too, here's the thing. There are people that are trophy hounds, and we did have an incident.
Oh, yeah.
We did have an incident with a guy who had taken his car to other shows, won a bunch of trophies, brought his car to our show, and didn't win a trophy. And again, I don't take part in judging. I have a car set up there, but mine is display only, so again, my car is not judged.
Right.
All I'm doing is helping tally the votes at the end, and we go out and we do tiebreakers and things like that. Or if there's a question about a car, hey, what's this going on? Usually me and Howard, or me and Two Legs, some knowledgeable people will go out there and look at this car, and we will figure out what's going on. Or sometimes a car's put into the wrong class, and we'll sort that out. Just general things like that. But because I am in the room with the judging sheets, my car is display only, because I don't want the appearance of impropriety is worse than the impropriety itself. It's a nice phrase to live by. So I just, display only. And here's the other thing. The entry fee, it all goes to a charity anyway.
Right.
But people need to understand, if you're going to go to a car show, just go to the car show to have the experience.
Right.
Don't go looking for a trophy.
Have fun.
Just go because, A, money's going to help a charity, and all of ours are local. And 2, you're going to be around a bunch of cars you've probably never seen before. You're going to get to talk to a whole bunch of other people who are also into cars, which for a lot of us, we don't get that a lot. Unless we're hanging out with each other, we don't get other people who are also into cars.
That's why 90% of my friends are way older than me.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna say, like I said, so it's just go there to have the experience. Okay, you're basically, if you go to a car show, you're gonna see a bunch of cars you haven't seen before. You're gonna see some cool stuff. Probably meet some cool people. Help out a charity. Just look at it that way.
Right.
And you might go to the bathroom and end up winning gold in your class, but because you had to go take a piss, and you didn't think you were gonna win, you just happened to win in your class, and they're calling your name, and I'm in the pisser.
Well, it's like the one show that I won honorable mention, which is you didn't win anything.
You
but
didn't come.
Your
in
car was pretty good, so we're gonna just mention you and give you a trophy. You know how excited I was to win that fucking trophy. I was damn near in tears. Over
kid on Christmas morning that just got the absolute thing he's been wanting all year. That was him.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, they noticed how hard I worked on my car. I'm so, look, I got a
Yeah,
plaque.
but like a lot of times, here's the thing. Sometimes what separates a honorable mention or exceptional vehicle from a first, second, or third
It's
is
literally like
a
2
point.
or 3 points.
Sometimes it's a
I
point.
didn't have a fire extinguisher.
Like I said, sometimes it's a
And
point
that
or
literally
2
was
points.
probably.
And that was probably the
Yeah,
point.
you know, like I said, I mean, so. But we did have an incident 2 or 3 years ago with a fellow who had taken his car to several shows and gotten a bunch of trophies.
Oh yeah.
Brought his car to our show.
That was 4 years ago. 'Cause
It did
that
not.
was my last show there.
and did not get a trophy.
He
and
fit.
He was
He
questioned.
boomered. He boomered.
He was not when we were younger than he was.
I know, but
younger
he
than I.
boomered.
He did boomer, but he was adamant that he should have gotten a trophy. So Perry was dealing with this person, and I'm like,
This was a 101 built on Tuesday. He should have just owned a Corvette.
and I was like, I'm just gonna keep walking this way and hope that nobody notices me. But my one-legged ass with my cooking cast crutches got somebody's attention. It was like, hey Brian, come over and check this out. Fuck. So I walk over, and I was like, what's up? And Perry told me, he was like, he thinks he should have won a trophy. He didn't. Here's his judging sheet. Could you go over his car and just kind of point out where, and why and so on and so forth? Now keep in mind, my car's a daily, display only. My car's sitting right over there. I go and look at this cat's car, and I'm looking at the judging sheet, and I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of generous. Because, well, that right there is 2 points I would have knocked off. That right there is 3 points I would have knocked off. That's 2 points I would have knocked off. And I went around and just went just like right off the cuff, because I wasn't aware that that this guy was like really, really adamant. I just heard that he was like, I figured it was like, hey, why didn't I win? Can you point this out? So I did.
He didn't like that.
He was very upset that you.
He started yelling.
Apparently we have a different idea of, hey, why didn't I win? You should point this out, than everybody else had. Because even Perry was looking at me like, damn, that was harsh. So, and then he looked at me and I'm like, hey, my car's a daily driver, and everything I just pointed on your car, my car is right over there. Go look at it. Everything I just pointed on your car is clean on my car. And my car's not even judged.
Right.
So there you go. And then flippantly, just being a smartass, because that's who I am, I said, if you think we're going to call somebody back to get their trophy and hand it to you, that's not going to happen. He literally expected us to call somebody back to take their trophy and give it to him. And we're like, no, not going to happen. So at this point, I looked at Perry and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do something over there. Because it was about the point where I would have left a really bad impression, way worse than the impression I had already left. I was like, nah, this is just gonna get worse from here. I need to go move that chair over there, and it didn't stop there though. I'm like, this guy was like stalking our Facebook page, like the club's Spaceballs page, and he was stalking that. He's like, well, what about this car? And it was a Boss 302. He was like, this car shouldn't have been in the same class as my car because it was the same year, and we're like, yeah, his car was also display only. It wasn't judged. He, like a lot of people there, literally just came to the show to hang out and support a charity.
Right.
They didn't care about a trophy.
Right.
So I have an idea of the Golden Cock Award. Literally want to go and get a rubber dong, spray paint it gold, mount it to a plaque.
So you want to be Clarkson?
And put it in a box.
Wait, can I participate at the show?
You can. You absolutely can.
No, I want to win the Golden Cock.
No, we talked about this.
I know, I
because
can't.
your motor, literally,
your motor has Ford all over it. It's a Ford
engine.
engine.
It needs to be a Ford-powered vehicle.
car.
Here's the
you
problem.
open up your hood, it says
no, I get that.
But I
That's
literally
fine.
want to do the Golden Cock Award and literally just take a rubber dong, spray paint it gold, mount it to a plaque, call it the Golden Cock Award, and put it in a box. And save it.
In case the guy shows up.
In case we have an individual like that says, you know what, we have an award for you. Open it when you get home.
I would show up to, I have not honestly washed the inside or even tried to clean up the inside of my car in probably a year or
Since
so.
the oil spill.
Well, that's the focus.
I would show up my car looks 50 times worse. Remember, I hauled my mower a lot of places. There's a lot of...
Yeah.
Hey, the gecko! Hi!
Buddy's right there.
You were definitely You look
So-
like you're preggers.
It's in this.
What are you
I'm in the
wagging
same
your
boat,
tail?
Dan. If I were to come to the show tomorrow,
That's me.
I would do it in a very specific way. I would get
You'd bring the truck and win.
nope. I would get the plaque printed out. 1 of 42, 2009, Vista Blue, Mustang GT,
Oh, yeah.
California
Mine was
Special.
built on a
Do you-
Thursday.
Built on a
Hold
Thursday.
Hold on.
With-
Do you have the certificate?
No, I don't have the certificate.
You can get that.
I would get the certificate.
Spend the
though.
$40, get the certificate.
I would get the certificate, put it on the
No, but
plaque,
he's
put it in
in
front of my
front of
car.
the satirical
Also-
about the
also-
wolves
42
right now.
Another
Wolves.
$20. Another $20. You can get the window sticker.
But this is for the lulz.
But yeah, 1 of 42, built on, whatever day. It's the Vista Blue hardtop Mustang GT California Special with xenon headlight option
That you've replaced with aftermarket LEDs,
that I have now replaced with aftermarket not
But
LEDs. Those are
projectors.
but projectors with
I love my LEDs. They're so bright.
Did you put LEDs or HIDs in there?
HIDs.
Okay.
Daily driven, 98,000 miles. I would do the whole Boomer plaque. And I would bring the car in the
plaque that I
horrible,
have.
filthy condition that it's in right now, with all of the cups in the garbage piled up in the fucking passenger footwell, the empty cigarette packs, the seats that haven't been cleaned, the whole car is just absolutely
do you
filthy.
think I'm emptying the ashtray? No. Is
He's
the
not.
ashtray full? Ashtray's full. I'm fucking opening that shit and
Yeah.
fucking being there.
Well, have you cleaned your car?
No.
Nope. Those McDonald's fries have been there for at least
if I
a
showed
year.
it with the grass, all the grass and junk and shit in my car in the trash, and then my fog light harness is zip tied on my front bumper. I have another harness hanging from the back bumper. I haven't investigated as to what it is yet, but I have another wiring harness.
You would
hanging
be the
back
only
there.
one that wins in the Mazda category.
Famoco, thank you. Remember,
Yeah,
It's
I
four-powered.
think his would just be in the 4-powered other category.
Yeah.
I would win.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah,
Well,
but you would be in there with like Cobra replicas and all the kind of weird stuff like that.
I would try to.
But
be
here's
like,
the thing, like I said, last week some guy showed up at our weekly car meet, literally in a Fiero with a small block Ford in the back, and
Saw
me
it.
and
That
Two
was
Legs
pretty
looked at that and were like, you've got to bring that to our show. It would be amazing. Just to
Right.
watch people, just to watch their heads hurt would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Like,
Well-
I really respect the fact that it's got a small block Ford in that. Because
And
everybody does LS or,
Or a
the
North
GM
Star.
3800s.
No.
Or North Stars.
North
If they do a
Stars.
North Star,
Anybody,
No.
Hands off to
any.
you.
Well, I'm just no.
I know, but
No,
if
but
you
I'm just
do
saying,
it, yes.
Anybody who decides to take an aluminum block 4-cam North Star with a starter motor in the valley and use that in your custom car project,
good for you.
okay, you know what? That's unusual. I can get
I need,
behind
I need
that.
a K series for your.
Because at that point,
No, sorry. I hate the North Star so much.
I do too.
Everybody hates
I
the North
do
Star
too.
so much.
But I hate it so much that if you put it in a custom car project, I hate you more.
I don't.
You've made your car
Here's the reason.
so
You've
much
made
worse.
life
No, wait,
harder.
here's the reason why.
that Fiero does spinny tire noises.
Okay, here's my thing. Like,
Spin
you always
tire
see, like,
beat noises.
classic Fords with small block Chevys in them.
Ugh.
And everybody thinks that I have a dislike for those things because I don't like,
No, it's because
engines,
so many people
different engine manufacturers. Thing, the first few guys that went to junkyards and pulled small block Chevys, 260s, 265s and 320s and 265s and 283s out of wrecked Chevrolets and put them in their old Fords.
Awesome.
Racing.
Cool.
Those first few guys that did it were cool.
After that,
The 3.5
no.
million cars that were done after that, lame.
Right.
The first guy who made a set of spinner wheels for his donk,
Cool.
rad. The 100,000 cars that came with spinners after that, not cool.
Right.
It's one of those things. Like the first guy who just decided to go, you know what? I can't really decide on a wheel. I just want a wheel. And these are pretty rough looking, so I'm just going to spray paint these motherfuckers black. Cool. Call it a day. You know what? That guy was onto something. The 7.5 million cars, including all the OEM manufacturers that do all black wheels after that, lame as fuck.
Yeah.
Mine are plastic.
Mine are
Yeah.
painted black. I haven't unlocked these wheels yet.
But I got really shiny center caps.
You do. So
Yeah.
anyway, so now I look at I see a 32 Ford with the distributor in the wrong place. I'm like lame.
But
And it's
you
not,
see it,
and it's
you
not
see
because
a 312 Y block.
it's not because it's not a Ford engine. Like if I walk up to a 32 Ford and I see a baby Hemi, fucking rad.
Right.
Oh, you see a
I
It's
slant,
because they did the
I
easy
walk up
thing.
to a 32 Ford
Oh,
and I
it's got
see a
slant
nailhead
6
Buick.
or a slant 6.
Rad.
Oh,
If I see a straight 6, rad. If I see a 2.3 Lima, rad. If I see a 331 Cadillac
See the
engine,
EcoBoost one now,
super
too.
cool.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like I said, if I see an engine swap that's
But you put a
interesting-
350 Chevy in your car. Congratulations, you're just like everyone else.
Yeah, the
Welcome
7
to the
million
LS
people that also
One,
did that
The 350 Chevy.
just made you lame. So yeah, like I said, that's the reason. It's not because it's like I only want to see a Ford engine in a Ford car or a Chevy engine in a Chevy car.
No, I want to see
If you're going to do an
interesting
engine
engines.
swap, make something
Twice.
interesting. One thing I have yet to see that I would really love to see, one, because it would be rad, two, because it's one of the most beautiful engines ever built, just aesthetically, and also because I know it would cause a butt hurt and hurt people's heads. I really want to see a 32 Ford with an XKE engine in it.
Oh, yeah.
That would be cool.
Yes, because that is one of the aesthetically most pleasing engines ever.
Well, it's like everybody 350 small block swaps the old Jags
Do you know why they did that?
because they use the same transmission.
Built under license.
But nobody Jaguar V12 swaps any of the Chevy cars. I would love to see that.
There almost was one. The Car Wizard.
Imagine a
The Car
We
Wizard.
all thought it was
the
Pops
car,
and Bangs. It was trailer sounds.
The Car Wizard
Imagine
has
a
a four-door
Corvair.
Chevelle that he was originally going to do a Jaguar V12 swap in it, but he abandoned the project because
imagine a Corvair V12 swap.
That would be cool.
it would sit at a permanent wheelie statically.
Yes.
No, Volkswagen W12.
Oh,
That's not a V12 though.
it's a W12.
Hey, there's
It
still
does.
there's still 6 pistons on each bank going.
It does
the
Wu-Tang
same
stuff.
Yeah, it
north
does
to
weird
south
stuff.
direction.
Yeah, it does.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing
Just
to
saying.
fuck with.
Yeah, it does weird
that's
stuff.
That'd be
SPW.
cool.
Anyway, we're not doing the bring a trailer car. We'll save that for next time.
Yeah, I did have one picked, but
It's too
we've
late.
It's
ran way.
almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we
it's
ran
too
way
late.
Is it
long.
really?
Yes, and
nice.
me and
So, on that bombshell,
on that bombshell,
On
hey,
that bombshell.
we'll most likely, we haven't talked about it, but me and Dan were talking about it.
Maybe
Probably
this-
next week.
Yeah, it might be a soon short show. Not short, but like distance short.
Yeah.
Maybe Friday.
Maybe a week from now. Oh yeah, that's right. You guys got something
Yeah.
coming up, so
Yeah.
you won't be around for our normally scheduled activities. So
Yeah.
we might have to do it a week early.
Good.
good.
I have no idea.
JCS Sandera.
I have
Bye,
no-
guys.